Hello, my name is Andres, and in this video we're going to be talking about the Z-CoiL Fit. And so, when you talk about fitting a Z-CoiL shoe, there's a couple things that are really important. So, let's talk about those. So the first thing is, when you're fitting any shoe, for that matter, is you want to make sure a person has a quarter to a half inch of toe room in front of their foot. An important consideration is whether or not you're fitting a person in the morning or in the evening. In the evening, people's feet tend to swell over the day, so you have to sort of accommodate, when you're actually fitting a person's foot. But once again, make sure they have ample toe room. They're diabetic, that's a whole different story. You got to really make sure they have plenty of toe room because they have other issues related to circulation that are very important. But once again, in the toe area, make sure they have a quarter to half inch of space. The other thing you have to consider with all the Z-CoiL shoes we talked about on the orthotic part is how high is their arch. And so a typical person's foot's going to have some arch area, but some people have no arch and some people have a very, very high arch. So the goal is to actually get a person's foot with even pressure distribution across the entire bottom of the shoe. But if they have no arch, in that case you're actually going to have to adjust this orthotic downward or make an accommodation to the insole. Or if they have extremely high arch, in some cases you want to support it even more. So it's very, very important to take a look at a person's arch and see and ask them how does their foot actually feel inside a Z-CoiL shoe. Does it feel like there's a lot of pressure against it, or do they feel like they have no pressure at all? And make the corresponding adjustments. Very, very important part of fitting a Z-CoiL shoe. If you let a person go out of the store with a Z-CoiL shoe that has a very flat foot and this arch that's raised is rubbing against their foot, they're going to have some problems. In some cases, their foot could actually blister. And so it's important that you take the arch area very seriously when fitting an individual. The last thing, and also the very important point, is pronation. There's really no shoe other than Z-CoiL shoes that really accommodate any type of pronation. Whether or not they pronate in the shoe, most shoes are so flat, the only way you can tell if someone pronates is over time to see how the shoe actually wears. But in the Z-CoiL shoe, because there's such an incredible compression distance in the heel, when a person walks, what you want to do is actually watch their heel. If they're dropping to the inside or to the outside, that's a very important telling sign as to how they're performing in the Z-CoiL shoe. If they're dropping to the inside of the shoe consistently, that means they're overpronating. That's the most common thing that you'll see in a Z-CoiL shoe. And so if they're overpronating to the inside, what you'll want to do is actually rotate that spring to make sure when they're walking, their heel's dropping straight down. Once again, if their heel's dropping to the inside, overpronation, that means that they're over-rotating too far on that shoe. And so it's a pretty easy thing to see. What you want to do is have a person walk directly away from you on a hard surface and take a look at their feet. And what you want to do is look at their feet and just see if they're on their left foot and their right foot, are they going straight down, or are they dropping a little bit to the inside, a little bit to the outside. As far as the outside is concerned, that's supination. There's not much you can do with the Z-CoiL shoe because the strong side of the spring is also always set on the outside. You won't see that very often, but what you will see over time is people dropping too far to the inside or too far to the medial side or the inside of their foot. That's called overpronation. In that case, you can help them out with a very simple coil turn. So that's a little bit about the Z-CoiL shoes as far as fit's concerned. Thanks for your time.